All right, thanks for joining me for my first ancestry and genealogy community research guest interview at the My History Verified channel. Now, I am your host, the quirky ASF Hood genealogist, Lenora, and guess what? Please welcome my guest, who is better known as the at aboriginal Niji. Now, that's what she is known as when she is dropping gems about her family tree research. And I am glad to have her here today as my first guest. Before we get started, though, let me first share with everyone the purpose of the genealogy guest interviews that will take place here at My History Verified channel. My channel is my personal journey of my pedigree and family relationship searches that I can find about my ancestors' navigation throughout this world, mainly through the South and Central Americas, in particular to the North and Southeast coast of America. Now, what is so unique about the study of genealogy is what we discover along the way, including a community that gets what this is all about. It's the running into this reclassified descendants community of reclassified warrior ancestors. It has rewarded me with the validation of knowing that someone else actually understands. And I truly mean a lot more of us understand this grievous journey than those who do not. There are different levels to it. Different levels, different degrees of knowledge, and different positions we have that each of us carries doing these tasks. Now, if someone is researching your history within your family, please show love and respect despite their findings. They have been blessed with this job and they are doing as they have been told to do. So give them love. And that this is a very, very significant role of sharing our fundamentally rich ancestry and genealogy information that intertwines with the history, both ancient, classic, and modern, of our forefathers. Now, our ancestors left this trail for us to pick up the pieces and to fit them into place until the next granted and blessed genealogist of your family is led to do the same. The descendants of the reclassified North and Southeast Coast American Aborigines and Indigenous are outstretched to the very four corners of the earth, across nearly every livable island and country there is. For starters, there are 4,096 ancestors within our tree, and 6 may still be living, making the actual number 4,090 ancestors, as in already have passed away. Now, you may not even know who they all are, but that is what this is all about. Encouragement to start your genealogy, to pick up the branches, or to ask for help with finding the family relationships of your family tree. We encourage you to do the footwork of your ancestors' paths that each have survived for you to be here today. That's why I have decided to provide my viewers and royal guests with the space to share their family tree journey and findings along with their joy. sorrow, and anger. All of these emotions happen more often than you can imagine when we find out things we did not know, or when we find out things we needed to confirm about our loved ones. The interviews will share the ancestry exploration, probing, fact finding of documents, oral reports, news clippings, wills, Bibles, history books, and the information left behind by our ancestors and by the surveyors, the agents, and other persons put in place to document their duties, responsibilities, and the outcomes of their land grabs when our loved ones were prisoners of wars, enslaved, or tortured. All of this shaped our existence today, including that of Walter Plecker's honest, and I mean very honest, letter that involved wanting the record keepers of America to lie about our ancestors' ethnicity, being indigenous, aboriginals, not Native Americans, but the North and Southeast Coast Aborigines. For the record, you do not get to tell us who we are. You do not get to tell us who we are related to. And you do not get to tell us who our ancestors are. We do not need your validation. This is not a debate, and neither would the interview be an interrogation. And remember, we are in the year 2023, a Jubilee year. On that note, let's get started with the interview of genealogy and ancestry guests. My first question is,
But I can hear you. Now, the what I asked last was if you wanted to say a few words, but don't give out too much
Want to come
information.
on here and talk about what I've been talking about for the last couple of days, our land patents and getting our land back. So that's one of the topics I want to talk about today, because that's the most important thing right now is getting our land back and getting it back rightfully. Okay, to where the thing, the land patent is the most important thing, and that's what you need, and we all have it. So that's what I want to discuss tonight. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed the live. I'm glad to be here, and thank you very much for having me.
Right, first question.
Mhm.
Can you tell us about your profile name and the platform that you can be found at?
Okay, my profile name is Aboriginal. I'm echoing. Wait a minute. Let me turn on my class. I'm echoing.
Know what you mean. Let's go. Can you tell us about your profile name and the platform that you can be found at?
Okay. So my platform, my username and my account is Aboriginal. You can find me on TikTok as Aboriginal, but I also have a YouTube channel, Aboriginal Hebrew. Is it 111? Yeah, Aboriginal Hebrew 111 over there on YouTube as well. And I also have four other accounts on TikTok at Chicago underscore 211. I have at Chicago underscore Tuscarora 11. And then I have at Aboriginal Ohio 11. So that's my three main pages that I
Okay.
use and put my
Well, if
content on.
they actually, is it correct there at the bottom of the banner?
Yes.
Okay, that is correct. And if you cannot find it after, actually, if you're not writing it down now, you will be able to catch it and see her her YouTube webpage on the I think it's the featured channels on my YouTube page. Second, what is your original purpose for genealogy study? And has your purpose for genealogy research changed?
Yes, it has. My purpose when I first started this was because I wanted to find out who my people were on my mom's side. My mother was a doctor, okay, and she didn't know who both of them. And so as I got older, of
Yes.
course, want to know who your other side of the family is. So what I decided to do was another cousin came to me from my other side of the family, my father's side of the family, and wanted to do a ancestry DNA because she wanted to find out who my uncles were her father. So I
Yes.
said, okay, I will do it, but I can also kill two birds with one stone and find my mother's sister. So that's why I did the ancestry DNA. And once I did that, got the results back, and I did find my mother's father's side of the family. Okay. I didn't necessarily find too many people from my grandmother's side, but I found like my whole family from like close relatives all the way down to distant relatives. So that's one reason why I actually did the genealogy as well.
Okay.
And then the other question,
Has your purpose for genealogy research changed?
yeah, because when I first did, I was finding out, who my family was and everything like that. But then it became a deeper rabbit hole with that. Uh, let's see. So when I started doing it, of course, I tell people to start with genealogy. Start with where you were born, and the city, state, and county you were born in, and do the research on that said city, state, and county. Okay, and then do the same with your parents and so forth. Okay. And then when I started doing research on where I was born, which is Ohio, I discovered a lot of things. So it was going deeper and deeper and deeper. So it went deeper than just me finding out my genealogy. I also found out the history of the land that I was born and my people were born. So yes, it changed a lot.
Okay, good. It does change quickly.
It does.
Question number three. When did you start your genealogy research? Were you a child or did you start it as an adult?
I started as an adult. Um, hmm, okay, when I started actually knowing who I was for real, I started 5 years ago, but I didn't really dig into the genealogy part and anything like that until 2 years ago. Yeah, so I've been actually doing it for 2 years. When I did ancestry just about 2 years ago, my father passed away
Right.
2 years ago. A couple of days ago was his anniversary, and I started doing it like a couple of years after he had passed. You know, a couple of months after he passed away.
Me
So
too.
that's another reason why I said, like, he would have been proud if he had found out all the information that I found out. But I went ahead and just said, I'm going to do it for the rest of my family. I need enough. I need enough.
Same thing with me. Parents passed away, and even though I had my mother's blessing before she passed away, and then I really, I think 2017, I really delved into it. All
Okay.
right. The next question: how many years has it been? Total, so it's almost like five, right?
Yep.
Okay. Um, next, which side, maternal or paternal, do you find more interesting when researching?
I mean, well, I first found my mother's side to be interesting because I found a few stories in her recording of my great great grandmother telling how many people ended up from North Carolina into Arkansas. So that was interesting for me at first. But just recently, I've been working with a genealogy and found that on my father's side, I found my Scotland roots, basically, on my father's side, like all the way back to the 1500s.
Okay.
So that basically overrode the other, the other side, because I'm like, oh my goodness, that's very interesting that I can actually see paperwork finding my people from Scotland, the five of Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm working on that right now. Just sent that out probably about 3 or 4 days ago. Yeah.
Which side do you find interesting though? Maternal or paternal?
Actually, my father's side right now because of the European, and I'm actually got back. You know what I'm saying, from Virginia to Scotland. I'm like, so that's what that's the yeah, that's the most exciting part of my father's side right now.
Okay. Next, what is your favorite ancestry location of study
Hmm.
geographically?
Okay. Well, I'm only on Indigenous right now, .com. And I'm actually learning how to maneuver through that because a lot of people think it's just taking DNA. But in reality, it's not just that. You have to break it down. You have it to where you can go through what's called through line,
Yeah.
where they go ahead and basically break it down to where your great grandparents and who are all the people that your DNA match belongs to in that generation. So I mean, they break it all down, even on the map. I think the ethnicity thing is bogus as far as they're saying how it's from Africa and everything like that. And then
Of
because
course.
when I look at the map, all my relatives that showed up today there's none that show up as African. But I do have three quote unquote white European relatives that still live in Europe today. But the rest of my relatives live in the USA.
Right.
So I broke that down to my people in TikTok when I went live, and I broke that down to them as well. Because I'm like, people don't understand the DNA test is for paternity testing only. That's it. You find relatives. You cannot find your ethnicity. You cannot find what you came from, and you definitely cannot find what tribe you're from, just like you agree. So I break that down for my people, and I show them the map and broke that down for them. So if they ever do a DNA test, I tell people not to do a DNA test unless you have a parent, unless you've been adopted, So you have a parent that's been adopted.
That
That's
you,
the only
that's
way you do it. Other than that, you can never discriminate if you already know, because it would be a waste of time. I'm
now,
just saying.
now, this is what I found with the DNA. Once you take the DNA test, there's two things. First, I'm gonna flat out say that the tests are the percentages are upside down for us.
Right. Yes.
The numbers cannot be 80% for every generation, a 50-year old, a 90-year old,
Thank
a
you.
70-year old. Everybody has 80% African,
Right.
although they haven't tested that area. And
And
then
everybody from Cameroon and the Congo and Bantu people, you know what I'm
Nigeria
saying, the
and
same place.
Mali, impossible. Not the same percentage. Now people know that they've given us Nigeria or Africa, but not
Yes.
the same percentage. Then they actually haven't tested them. So how could you say that we match them? Which
Exactly.
means that our blood is 100% something. You do know that, right? Not 100%, but you do know that we are less, we're more Aborigines than
Yes.
anybody here in
Yes. That
North
over.
America. You do understand? I know you know that.
Yes.
We're more at a percentage. The percentages are flipped. So in actuality, we are 80% Aborigines and
Exactly.
20% other.
Yes.
And they're getting worse and worse with it now. You see the updates, right?
Yeah.
So they know that we know because
Mm-hmm.
they're playing with the DNA right now.
They are.
Yep. So I've noticed that. Next question: which ancestry do you find the most prestigious? The mother or maternal or paternal?
It's going to be the paternal because I haven't really been able to find my mother's paternal side yet. So it's been the paternal side.
Okay.
Definitely been the paternal side. I've found a lot, and I only went back, I say 4 or 5 generations with that paternal side, but I still found a lot within those 4 or 5 generations. I still have more businesses.
Okay. Please select only one: a chief, a noble, or a royalty that is um, uh, found within your family tree. Any one of your ancestors.
Well, I just know for a fact that I have a Lord. Hold on, it's a long time, okay? But I had a relative, James Aaron Rebel Peterson.
Okay.
That's noble. Yeah, that's from Europe. That's a nobleman.
Yes.
I haven't found anybody. I haven't found a chieftain, but I found noblemen. I found lords. I found barons. I found princes, and I found queens as far as my lineage. Yeah,
All right.
go all the way back to Scotland.
Of course. Those
Mm-hmm.
are some of the original settlers and colonizers that helped to
Exactly.
colonize us, and
Those
they're the
are
ones.
your.
You know, she got away with sending all those people. Well, she didn't send them. I'm talking about the queen.
Mm-hmm.
With they got away with all of these children that they didn't take care of.
Right.
You know that, right?
Yep.
Didn't take care of them, implanted babies in everybody, and they got away with still their notoriety, um, still being a lord. A lot of them went back to England or
Yes.
Scotland or
Mm-hmm.
wherever their royalty was. They went back there and left, the mothers to take care of the children that they impregnated them with.
Now I was
So,
wondering that. I was talking about that earlier because I'm like, why? I said, how did they come over here? They didn't come over here with women, and then they married people in Virginia and Alabama, North Carolina. I said, how you go from Virginia to Scotland, and then 20, 30 years later, being married to somebody here in the Americas? So I'm like, I said it was a missing piece there, but I said something went on that we're not seeing. I put up a whole chapter that
exactly.
involved with my people's family. The Fidel, it's called the Fidel Passage, and that's where some of my people, three generations of my people were actually born in that town.
Born where again?
It's called Fordell, Fordel Castle in
Okay.
Fife, Scotland. And
Okay.
that's where three of my generations of people were born in that town.
Okay. So that's some of
Before,
the noble and the royalty that we spoke about earlier.
yep.
All right. The next question: have you found any indigenous Aborigines, Amerindians, within your tree? Yes or no?
Yes, my, well, first of all, my dad, on my dad's side, that's the Cherokee side, but it's also the Cherokee side.
Okay.
Okay, Cherokee, my dad has always told me when I was young, from the time I was a baby, that I can remember that we were Cherokee. Okay, so that's where the Cherokee Nation comes from on my dad's side. But on my mother's side, my my fourth generation great grandfather Reuben Root was born in North Carolina, but also I have relatives from that side born in Virginia, Tennessee, Mississippi. So we all know that that's like Cherokee Nation, but I don't have a split tribe that I've come to. I know I'm just Cherokee Nation. You know that.
Okay. Well, you answered the my next question, which was which tribes were you able to discover
Mm.
doing your research? So you answered that. Next question: do you prefer ancient, modern, or classic history?
Man, actually ancient. I
Okay.
love ancient history.
Okay.
I
Why?
love it. The modern thing, it's modern.
Exactly. Do
So
you
yeah.
want to say why you like ancient history better than the more than the other two?
Only because I went back so far and found out that this is actually the Holy Land. Like I said, I was born in Ohio, Canton, Ohio. And when I dug deep, I dug so deep, I found that the Decalogue Holy Sayings here.
Yeah.
You can get the Decalogue Holy Sayings. If you don't, if nobody knows what that is, that Decalogue means the 10 laws, aka the 10 commandments. And they found these stones with Moses' picture on it, the 10 commandments,
Exactly.
found all over Ohio Valley. So Ohio, Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, and North Carolina. Okay, so I found those. I'm like, oh, well, what are these men buried all over finding in the burial mound? I went to American History, then I went to the Giants. I went to researching it, like they found the Giants and the Giants are now building Israel. And then I kept going and was like, oh, so we the Hebrews too? Oh, yeah, okay. So
Exactly.
that's what fascinated me
Exactly.
the most is that we're the Hebrews, we're the Judeans.
The aboriginal.
And,
Actually, I'm sorry.
oh, the go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I thought there was a delay. Go
Oh,
ahead.
okay. But yeah, we're the Judeans. And I'm like, wow, I did not know that.
Mhm.
And so digging deep, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, everything that we know now has been put into research. And when they say we were exiled out of our own land, we were. That's why we don't have our land right now. But a lot of us didn't leave like a lot of other people left here. You know what I'm saying? There were people evicted out of here rather than people evicted from other places here. Because this is
Right.
the original homeland. We know this land. We know this is the original Egypt. We know this is the original Holy Land. We know this is the original Garden of Eden. We
Sure
know
is.
all this. So that's why I love history. When I found out we were reaching every key people, the Incas, the Mayans, the Olmecs, you know what I'm saying, the Aztecs.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's why I love history.
All right. Um, I actually like the ancient history too. After finding out that about the Hebrew Israelites, who they are, the Aborigines of North
Mhm.
and Southeast Coast America, um, I love it too. Next question: do you have ancestors who have had any traumatic events?
Um, no, actually, I didn't. Everybody gives me the thing that I asked. Like I said, I have a recording of my great grandfather who told the story about how we ended up leaving North Carolina. And it was my third generation great grandfather to me to listen. What happened was he got into a fight with a white people, he must say that, like most of them. And so what happened was they went back to town and got the white female who was generation alive. And so he fled to Crockett, Arkansas. Now I have sympathy for that because when he got to Crockett, Arkansas, he acquired land. And I was like, that could make sense. Like, well, if he was in North Carolina and he wasn't a slave, or if he was so-called a slave, I said, how did he run to Arkansas and then buy
How did
land?
he get to Arkansas?
Yeah, how did he get to Arkansas and how did he buy land when he went there? And then I have family that's still living on that land today in Crockett, Arkansas. So that was, yeah, that was interesting. That was the only traumatic story that I heard as far as, you know.
Okay. Next question. Do you want to briefly share that? And you have already done so. Now,
Mm.
what do you believe is the worst race relations law that you have discovered doing your research that was put in place by the colonizers and settlers to this land?
Mm. Well, what I just discovered with my learning or whatever is that a lot of the words, I looked them up and a lot of these expressions are white people. And I'm like, oh, here we go. I said, so did they infiltrate the castle before? You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm not sure where they came in, where they put themselves in my family, because basically they infiltrate the family. Because I'm like, how did we go from being white tea to being aboriginal? My grandfather, I tell people my grandfather, he said he is mellow. So if he was mixed with me, you know what I'm saying? He's browner than me. I'm red.
Right. Right.
And then we still have the old blood. So how do I still have the old blood if, you know? So I'm like, they infiltrated, but it was maybe a short infiltration. Like it wasn't a long process that they infiltrated my family. It was very short. And then I was asked the question of, well, if they had places over there in Scotland and if they were white people, I said, well, why did they come over in the first place? If you had your land and your kingdom over there and stuff, no, you need to come to the Americas first. So I'm like, this is my theory. I already have a picture of the tapestry of the white tea when people from the cave, basically attacking the people in the castle, trying to take over their castle and stuff like that. I have a tapestry of it from the 1400s. Okay, and so my theory is that when they did that, they took over the castles and stuff like that, and infiltrated the Moors. Once they got in, they didn't know how to maintain that empire. They didn't know how to maintain it. You just infiltrated, you wanted what they had, but you didn't know how to maintain it. So they had to come over here to find new land. I don't know why they came over here to find new land to discover Town, Virginia, because I have a relative that actually, his name is Thomas 1000 Town, Henderson. And you know it's the title of what you did in your name. So
Yeah.
this was one of the founders of Jamestown, Virginia. So why did you have to go and found Jamestown, Virginia, if you already had an empire, land and stuff over there? You understand what I'm saying? Like, what do you find a new land for? I'm being real rich. When you need this land over here too, you got this over here. You need this over here too. What's the purpose of you leaving that? So that's why I asked the question. Yeah, something ain't right. Something ain't matching.
Right. 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 Well, at least now someone will learn about that issue if they see it within their tree.
Yes.
Okay. Next, actually, which maternal or paternal ancestor did you find to have been reclassified, and do you have did you actually see documents that showed one ethnicity and then it was striked
That,
out or
that,
scribbled out?
mm, the only thing I see was I have a lot of friends with mulattoes on my mother's side, my mother's paternal side.
Yes.
And I have not seen mulatto on my father's side. on the census records of the folks, you do see white.
Yeah.
It says white, but we know that white and black sometimes back then, especially the 1600s, were more of a status rather than a hue. So I'm not exactly sure if that means white was so white to Europeans or that they were white because of status, they were rich.
Right.
You
I
know what I'm
agree.
saying? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
So I did see
Right.
that on my father's side.
I understand that because I have a line where it stopped and the ancestor, actually a second great grandmother, is mulatto,
Mm,
and you don't know if it's, well, I found out that she was Chickasaw. Her mother was full-blooded Chickasaw, but when you're researching it, you don't know where to go because you don't know if it's white and indigenous or
yeah.
white and African. So you don't know.
Right.
You have no
They
clue.
say mulatto consists of, it wasn't just white and black or white and African. It was more like um, American Indian, maybe mixed with
Right.
African, American Indian mixed or African mixed with Caribbean, white tea mixed with African, white tea mixed with Aboriginal. You know what I'm saying? It was just being mixed here. It wasn't
They
necessarily
named them. They named people mulattoes even if they wasn't mixed. They was just
exactly.
doing something back then.
Right. My father, if he would have been born back in those times, they probably would have listed him as being mulatto because of the blood skin. But
Right.
his father, which is my baby father, was different. You know what I'm saying? So,
Just doing something. Just doing
yep,
something. And a lot of stuff was based on emotion, how that person felt about a person at that moment when they was
exactly.
doing document or record keeping. So
Yep,
it was a mess back then.
you're right.
Right. Uh, Next to me. How do you deal with the emotions behind the reclassification of your ancestors in the African American race?
The way I do this is I don't even do it no more, and then what I do is when I go to my community, I straight up tell them, you call yourself that, and I will show them the definition. I will explain to them. But you know what? I've never really had my family, especially on my mother's side. I mean, my dad's side, call themselves African American or black. You know what I'm saying? It's just not. But I mean, they do. But, you know what I'm saying? But as far as that goes, um, but I do let my sister say that. You know, like, you know, and my girls, you know, my granddaughters,
Right,
they said it
right,
before, and I definitely let them know that you're not African
right,
American or black. Okay, I let them know that you're that Haitian. You know, saying you are American Indian, you're Aboriginal American Indian, because the Haitians and those are our people. I said all the people in the community, all the Baltimore, those are our people as well. My oldest granddaughter is 8, and her father is Taino and more European, but he also has Cherokee on his side as well. So I let her know as far as that, and saying whatever. So I'm teaching them right now in their children. They're not African American or black. They're just
as you
how
should,
I
as
say,
you
I say it
should.
loud, okay?
They gonna be powerful because
That's
if
right.
we not here, they need to know what their history was and is so
Yeah,
that they don't repeat it.
that's right.
I can't stand a person that don't listen to stuff and then next thing you know it's hitting them head on and you don't have that mother sense of power to help you with it because you refuse to listen when an elder or a relative or somebody was telling you something. So
Right.
it's a good thing that they are listening. Now, would you like to discuss anything about your genealogy and ancestral research? And if so, you have that time right now. Anything specific?
Yes, I would like to because I didn't know when I first started this about the land patents and how our people had land. I didn't know. I was just finding my relatives and stuff like that. So now it is basically I'm in it now to get my people's land back. Okay, get the land patents now that I know about them. I know they exist. And I'm also encouraging our people to do that as well because all of us in the Americas, if you have people that were born 18, 20, you know what I'm saying? Anytime before the 1800s, or you know what I'm saying, before the 1900s, you have a land patent, okay? You have a land patent. You just have to find it. And they also, I found out that they also have a book of land patents, okay? I think it's a book, $300. I forget what the book is called. But yes, they have a book where they have your land patents as well. Okay, they have the BLM, which is the Bureau of Land Management, where you can also find your people's land patents as well. If you have a hard time looking up those land patents, you need to contact a genealogist or whatever that can help you, you know what I'm saying, look for those land patents. It is very, very important that you find those land patents and not buy land, okay, because this land is owed to you. And also, when you find those land patents and you prove that the land is yours by birthright, guess what happens? You become sovereign on your own land. You become your own entity on your own land. Police enforcement agencies cannot infiltrate your land unless you invite them. So this is why I say it's important. If you buy land today, guess what? You don't own it, because if you have to pay a property tax or anything, any type of mortgage, that means you don't own it. But if you have the land patent, you're going to own that land outright, and you have to pay nobody nothing. Guess what? They're going to have to pay you. So when I said the land patents are important, okay, that's where the wealth is, not the money. Not the money, okay? You'll get the money from the land. It depends on what you do with it. So that's the importance. That's the importance now to me is the land.
Yep, I agree about the land, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that people are listening so that they can learn more about the land patterns. Next, are you open to assisting others with their genealogy research, especially in your specialty area?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I've been trying to help people as much as I possibly can. I know I'm a busy person, but if I can help you in any way by giving you a search engine that you might not know about, also let people know about the DNA test, how to work with the DNA test, that you can actually own your DNA once you take the DNA. A lot of people don't know that. You can own your DNA results, okay? And then you can also load your DNA results into GitMap, which will link you to other of people of your DNA testing of other DNA testing companies. So I do, yes, I do try to encourage and help people with their genealogy as well as much as I possibly can. And I also have a person who is a genealogist that gives online classes, and she helps as well. We work together. Yes, 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 yes. So
Okay.
yes, I do.
All right, sounds
100%.
good. So anybody out there that needs help from Aboriginal Niji, she is
Mm-hmm.
available for assistance. And of course, she's on TikTok teaching almost all day. And what else? The YouTube
Good.
channel. So she is available. The next question is beginner,
Mm-hmm.
advanced, or expert?
Ooh, I'm not an expert yet. I still got a long way to go. And I'm not a beginner because I feel like I still have the beginning part. So I'm more in there. I'm
Well,
more
we're
in
in
there.
this field now. We are in this field, and
Here
we
we
don't
are.
need their certifications.
I'm professional.
We don't need their certifications. We
We
don't
sure
need
don't.
them
We
to
sure
study
don't.
our history. We don't need them. So we
We sure
doing
don't.
good. We're
Thank
doing
you.
good.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Yep, I'm proud of everybody. I'm proud of
Me
everybody
too.
that is rocking out on TikTok that's in this community. I am so proud of them. And when you think about those youngins on there and how they be going toe to toe, and
Yes,
then people want them to pipe down and be politically correct in their approach. And it's just that we all got different levels to it.
yes, we
And
do.
I'm proud of them. I am
Me
really, I'm
too.
telling you, sometimes I be about to cry
Mm-hmm. We
listening
come
to.
along now. You know, people here, like I said, the young people out, I also know I have 18, 19-year-old people who follow me on TikTok. concert and stuff like that. I'm getting out the road, and I'm like, oh my goodness, they have some children here. So I'm glad y'all called me on you. Go
Oh.
ahead.
And you not even that old, so they
No.
just younger than you.
Right. But I said I'll embrace it. I embrace it. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Because
right, right, right. Well, you taking your place like we all are in because this is our era. You
that's
know,
right.
you're some years behind me, but we're taking our place because this is what we're destined to do. This is what we're
That's right.
supposed to be doing. Blessed, we are blessed at doing this. So, you know,
Right.
somebody else as it go along, they'll be picking up. You know,
Exactly. You left off. That's what we
yep,
want.
yep. My last question is, do you? And it's. I don't know if you should go into explanation about it
Okay.
if you want to, but that's not actually how I wanted it. Okay, let me be quiet.
All right.
Last question.
Okay.
Do you consider yourself to be a bougie or a boss, ancestry and genealogy, nerd, geek, or dork?
More of a nerd.
Uh, okay, a bougie or boss.
More of a boss. Well, no, no, baby. I'm done. Let's just
All
say
right, I heard that. All right, so that is it. Now, this will conclude our interview. I don't want to drag it on, and it don't have that
right. You know how we can go. We can go for
the
hours.
feel right. So I wanted to thank you for joining the My History Verified channel.
Oh man,
Uh,
thank you for inviting me.
the my ancestry and genealogy research guest interview. My first interview. You saved me today. Thank you
Thank
so much.
you.
Woo wee.
I'm
Thank
gonna,
you
oh
so
my God, I gotta get on here anyway. So I said, let me just go ahead and set it up while she asks me, because if I don't, I'm not going to get it set up. So you push me to set up my screen right now.
well, all right. So here you go. There you go at the bottom of the screen. Go ahead, please follow the Aboriginal Niji
Mm-hmm.
on her YouTube channel and what is it, TikTok channel. All
Yep.
right, and any other channels. And I thank you so much. Ooh, you rocked out. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and remove you.
All right.
All right, thank you. All right, there we go. I just had the legend.